All right, shall we? May I have this? May I have this day? All
All
right,
right, round two.
all right. For real this time.
For real this time. Welcome everybody to Dance to the Music. We have on socks, and my special guest today is Deon Jamar from Detroit. Thank you for being
Thank you.
here, and
Thank
thank
you.
you for taking the time. So, do I tell the people what we just did or what I just did? No, I don't tell them. Maybe I put it
They
somewhere.
ain't got to know.
They ain't gotta know. Okay, cool. So, first question: how you feeling? Good.
I actually feel really good. I don't know how I'm not dead dog tired, but I feel great. I think it's just I'm on adrenaline right now. I feel great.
Heard
Yeah.
you. You like New York, and New York likes you.
I
Is
love
that
New York, specifically Brooklyn.
okay?
Yeah.
Wow.
Love
How
it.
many times have you been here before?
One, two. I think it's like my fifth time here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. That's dope. And then I we spoke about this already, but and I've asked this question other guests before in maybe a different way, but you prepping for a trip is different from or prepping for a trip when you go play in a different city or a different country, right, entails a little bit more than prepping for a set in your hometown, mentally and obviously physically, as far as records are involved. But how do you? Is there? Let's ask it differently. Is there a difference between you prepping for a set at home, in Detroit versus you play here in New York now?
Musically, not so much, but actually traveling and DJing. This is actually something I should mention. You just said it, records, right? Physical records, checking bags and things like that. That actually made me a little more decisive with my packing, because I still bring too many records on purpose. Like you never want to be pigeonholed stylistically, and you don't never want to run out of run out of real estate when like, okay, say it ends at 2 or ends at 3, but the best parties never end at that time. They usually end just when the last people stop dancing, when you see the momentum slowing
Ideally,
down,
yeah.
right? So you just want to have enough music to fill up all of the different pockets of energy, just go on a roller coaster. But yeah, the preparation becomes more about my body and my mind and my spirit. So I gotta get some rest, which I don't. I don't sleep. But I have to center rest because I want to be my best self when I pull up to these people. Like they're bringing me out, they're flying me out, and I just want to honor that, that situation because it is a blessing to. There's so many killers, and I mean great, amazing DJs in Detroit that may never get to do what I'm doing, that are better than me. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's just about the opportunity being granted. So I like to honor that opportunity by just making sure that I'm clear, I'm, solid, and I'm ready, you know. So yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and in general, as even if you would play at home in Detroit, what is your? I like we're talking about people here, right? So I always like to hear people's stories, and as far as their emotional state, how do you prepare emotionally for, like, let's say movement festival or any type of week that you have where you might have 3 or 4 gigs lined up? How do you emotionally prepare for each individual or just like even the week in general where you say, oh, I got this the whole week. So how do you go about it knowing that obviously each night or each event you want to bring the best out of you and give the best to the people, right?
So, because I do primarily play records, um, of course, like 12 inches sound the best, obviously, or 7 inch, right? But you get more out of having LPs with, or even 12s with like at least like 2 cuts on it. This is the secret. This is the thing. You have a record that actually has like 2 or maybe, if you really got a classic on you, you got 2 or 3 different kind of cuts on you now. Now you got like a Swiss Army knife bag. Like, oh, this could easily turn into a down tempo set, or this can turn into like we can go like last night, Public Records. We were originally supposed to be in the sound room, but it got moved to the bar, right? So, okay, going from a sound room, like basically a club situation, to now a bar situation, Yeah, I will say preparation-wise, I was thinking of it differently. But what I didn't know, which I have to keep reinforcing this idea about, one of my mentors told me never judge a party till you get there, right? You prepare for everything, but I always have this disdain about playing in bars or lounges or basically just spaces where people are sitting and chilling. You know, just plug in an iPad. What do you want me in here for? You know what I mean? But this is what I'm failing to realize about, especially New York. It can go down right now. Like it is a club now. Now it's a club because we dance and they move the tables and there's a dance floor. Get it, right? But the preparation for the different kind of spaces you're in really are more sonic than musical for me. Because I'm always going to bring a breadth of music with tempos and styles, but depending on space, I want to bring things that I think are going to, like a 200 capacity room is different than a 1,000 capacity room. It's different than you know what I mean? So I try to keep that in mind. But ultimately, man, when you get there, like even when you was talking about preparing for multiple dates, right? Honestly, one set at a time, one song at a time, because you can really drive yourself into anxiety by, you know, just trying to forecast too many moments at once. Because that's our whole job. Our whole job is, this is really some fucked up, this is messed up what we doing.
No, you can curse on here.
This is for fucked up shit. This is the idea of this is fucked up. You're tasked with being present, right? But also in the future at the same time, at once.
Oh, yeah.
And you have to forget the past. Because who cares if the last hour was good? What about this next hour? Or what about just this next right now? You have to stay in the now and prepare for the future constantly. Then you got this person, hey, what's up, man? You need a drink? Hey, and you got to stay here and there. So that's why you don't really want to, I would not advise anyone to, like, of course, like for instance, this weekend I had 3 different kind of spaces, 3 totally different type of situations, right? But all of the music I'm bringing, most of it is pretty much applicable in all of the spaces, right? Because at the end of the day, I'm a DJ. So what is the job of a DJ? To make people dance. Or how about this? To make people have a good time. Because we was talking about earlier how just because somebody is not on the dance floor sweating and getting it in doesn't mean they didn't have a good time.
Exactly.
And it doesn't mean that music, that they didn't need it and they didn't benefit from the vibrations, you know? So anyway, again, with these big event like movement weekend or I'm in Tresor, or you know, I don't try not to like make anything too iconic because like just simplify it. It's just a party. It's a party. It's not. I don't care who's there. Oh man, you know Joe Clarcell gonna be there. Like yo, it doesn't really. It's just a person. Yo, relax. All of that added pressure is unnecessary, and you still losing track. Like your job doesn't really change for real. Whether I'm playing a festival stage or that bar last night, my job is the same. So yeah, I try not to be too iconic about anything, but I do get excited though. Don't get me wrong.
Okay.
I do know, like, oh, I'm going to New York. Oh yeah, like yeah. But at the same time, if I overly, there's a such thing as getting like too excited. You know, one of my mentors called it a rabbit heart. Your heart beating fast, you mixing out too fast, and everything's moving real fast, and people are like, it's cool, but you need to calm down. You know, it's like I even had my first drink yet. Why you beating already? You know, but sometimes remember we was talking about this earlier too. In Detroit, we play with a certain level of urgency and intensity because we have to.
And explain why you have to.
It's a lot of reasons why. Like one, because like how you were saying earlier, like man, life is hard, man. Living is hard in Detroit, right? Most, or at least historically, maybe this new Detroit we're coming into has become more of a tech town. No pun intended, because there's literally an area in Detroit called Tech Town. But it's moving more into like, you know, office and tech kind of stuff. But historically, Detroit is a manufacturing city. So this is hard working, 9 to 5, if not 12-hour shift, like grinding it out people. So on the weekend, you know, they're not like sitting with their legs crossed with a martini. Like a lot of people was looking to go and like sweat it out. So, you know, that's where that urgency I think comes from historically. But today I find a lot of crowds because like we've been so spoiled over the last 30, 40, 50 years. We've been so spoiled that it's like a normalcy. Like excellence is normal. Like I was saying earlier, like there are people that are excellent that will never get certain opportunities that I get, that are more excellent than I am. They put more time in than me. And with that said, sometimes I think we take it, the crowds sometimes take for granted what's happening.
Right.
So you gotta kind of like just kickstart them. Like, oh no, this is what's going on. It's going down. You know, get excited. Let's get it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because otherwise they'll just kind of stand around and, you know, just be normal about it. But it's not normal. This is a very special situation. You know what I'm saying? At least, don't get me wrong. Every situation is not going to be the magical moment or whatever we fantasize. But if you are the programmer, you should be preparing. You know how they say prepare for the worst? I like to say prepare for the best. You're supposed to be preparing for magic. You're not supposed to be preparing for just another night. You know, but that's just me, you know.
Yeah. With the risk of repeating yourself.
Yeah.
What is your first musical memory that you can think of?
Yeah, my first musical memory is like my dad's basement, you know, family gatherings, the backyards, my mama's living room, all my aunties getting together. They would all bring their CDs, you know, and like battle. Like they would battle like so
CD battles?
So you know the CD players, they got like 6 to 8
Yeah.
like this. Like, yeah, they would be like, we about to all put our discs in, and whoever get the best vibe, like you won. But like everybody
That's
wins.
dope.
You get what I mean? But you know what was
How
happening though?
do you judge a vibe?
You don't. It's really just some friendly battle. Like, there's no winning and losing. Everybody wins, but I'm gonna tell you who really wins. Whoever house it is, because everybody got drunk at the end of the night, left their CDs. Yeah, that's why I got a lot of these CDs. I'm sorry, aunties. Y'all know I got y'all CDs. But yeah, those are my earliest musical memories. You know, my families. You know, the block. You know, like a block party, birthday parties. You know, the radio. You know, Detroit DJs on the radio, programming the world essentially. You know, everybody from Mojo all the way up to Raybone. You know, like Fingers. Yeah, so many legends that just changed the way that we hear these songs. You know, yeah.
You've mentioned before that obviously your dad is a DJ. You've mentioned that before, and so I can't imagine growing up with a parent who's a DJ. Right?
Yeah.
It's like
It's loud.
I don't. It's that, but also like I don't even. Were you conscious of the fact? Like, did you really understand, like, growing up, what that profession is, or is like that's normal? You know how that's just my dad. Like,
I knew he was a hero. My dad was a hero, a neighborhood hero, for real.
Oh, dope.
Like DJs are looked at in a certain way, and I ain't talking about all this international resident advisor. All that. I'm talking about these people love you because of what you provide for them. And my dad had a residency at this place called the El Capri, which is on East Grand Boulevard in Mount Elliott. He would play there every Saturday because he worked 9 to 5. So Monday to Friday, he would work at Ford at the plant. Saturday, El Capri. Every week for at least 15, maybe 20 years, he did that residency. And the preparation for that, I still, like, I'm literally emulating what I watched him do.
Wow.
You know, which is like, basically like wake up in the morning, start playing. I'm talking about day of the gig. Like all those days before the gig, I might be kind of like, oh, I'm gonna just play a few, I'll practice for an hour or two. But the day of the gig, oh no, we going in. We about to practice, about to play all these songs. I might play it again. Let me see what the other side, let's see the instrumental, like just throwing it all to the wall. So watching him do that, man, I knew that it was special. And then, like, I'm not the dresser that my dad was, but like, or is, but like, yo, just watching how he, I could tell it was special. I knew it wasn't normal because, like, it was like a ritual, like a routine. It was a ritual, though. Yeah, without fail, Saturday morning, system is on. Turn the amps up, wake up, because it's beating. You know what I mean? And yeah, man, it was, but growing up, I never wanted to DJ, though, because he was so good. I never thought I would be that good. I'm still not that good. But, like, not as good as him. But I knew that it was special based on how people treated him. It wasn't on no, you know, it was real love, like, you know, real appreciation for what he was providing. So yeah.
So when was the moment, what was the moment, the aha moment of you like, no, actually, I do want to be a DJ, like confirming for yourself, like, no, I want to do this.
Yeah. Very specific moment was this party called Fundamentals. It was Jay Daniel, Kyle Hall. They had a residency. I'm trying to date this. I want to say 2012, 2013, right around this time. It was a DIY party. The one I went to was a DIY party. It was at the Griswold Lofts, which no longer exists. And what was so impressive about it for me was it was like young people. It was people of all ages, people of all creeds also, but it was young people though. And they were playing shit like Roy Ayers, Running Away. I remember early in the night, Jay had played Me and Those Dreaming Eyes of Mine, the Dilla remix though. So I was like, oh, my man, oh, okay. And then to watch them, like they built, like they wasn't just like house music all night long. Like, no, they like built it up to that point, got it to that point, got the dance floor like that, then took it to another level. And at that time, I didn't realize that Kai Alce was their guest.
Oh, okay.
And I want to say, I'm sorry, I hate to assume, but I feel like he's the one who played the Running Away, Roy Ayers. Just because he's the oldest one. I don't know. It's a cut. Any one of them could have played it, whatever. But anyway, I didn't know who any of them were at the time. I was just going to a party. But it was so beautiful, and they were playing so much music that, 98% of them, like those songs I named, were the only songs I could identify that night.
Oh, wow.
No, wait, there was one more. They also played Bob Marley, Could You Be Loved? So I'm like, wait a minute.
I love when people play that. Sorry,
Right?
I just had to.
Because it's a cut. As popular as it is, it's such a cut. I was just taken aback, like, wait a minute. People still want to hear this shit? Like, what? Like, I didn't know. I thought I only wanted to. So there was confirmation for me, because that was one of the only things I was insecure about being a DJ was like, man, don't nobody want to hear Donald Byrd, dog. Like, nobody's trying to hear Weird Parade. Like, this is just me and my little. And then that's why you got to get outside, man. It's more than just what we're told. And that's what the underground is, you know, for people who still want that. And when I found out about Detroit's underground, it was over right there. Like, I sat down on the couch right there, had a bottle of Carlo Rossi. I told you about this. The wine. We're going to buy something tonight. Matter of fact, we ain't got to drink it. I just want to buy it.
I just want to look at it? Okay,
it's literally $7, and it's like this big. But anyway, I sat down on the couch, and I just had an epiphany. Like, yo, I'm doing this. Because I didn't even know that people out there wanted this. And now that I know they want this, and I know that I love this, I feel like it's meant to be. So I'm going to do what it takes to get to that point. I knew it would be an uphill climb. I knew it would take years for me to get skill-wise as good as those guys, or not even as good as them, but good enough to translate the feeling to a room like that. Because it was like a few hundred people there. And they was getting down. Like, it was nothing casual. Like, everybody was dancing.
Oh, that's what's up.
If he wasn't dancing, he was taking a break. Then everybody, it was hot, too. It's like on the, third, fourth floor or something. You have to walk up these steps. It was like a skate park across the hall. I'll never forget it. It was like yesterday. I have people I met there that night I'm still friends with.
That's dope.
So that was just my aha moment. That was my, like, confirmation for sure. Like, and of course, like, remember how we talked about earlier, you have to spend years, I ain't gonna say have to, but it's better probably that you spend years on a dance floor like you did before you decide to get behind the decks. So then you really have a fundamental understanding of what this is. And there were other parties like Excursions. I always shout out Excursions.
Yeah.
Excursions was the first time that I got my bell rung, and I found myself dancing for hours until the sun came up. But I danced for hours at that party too, but Excursions was another beast because it was Movement Weekend, Mark Duncan sound. That was the first time I was like, oh, this is the power of this music for real. Then I knew I had to go home and practice. I was like, this is a system. This is a sound system that, you know, you have to have a certain level of command of to execute. So I'm still trying to get to that level. I still don't think I'm on that level of command, but I think, oh man, I'm proud of myself. My 10 years ago, my 19-year-old, 20-year-old me see me now, I'd be proud for sure. Yeah.
Oh, that's a good thing to say.
Yeah.
Yeah. And when you told yourself, okay, I want to do this, did you tell your dad, or did you like technically, I was like, okay, or were you always around anyway and you knew already how to mix, or was that something that was like, he was like, nah, I'm teaching you?
Oh no,
No.
he definitely. My dad, because you got to think, I didn't have my own equipment. It's not that he wasn't in support of me. He was in support of me breaking his shit. You know what I mean? Because you know how expensive all this shit is. Amps, cables, needles. Golly, needles. He used to be like, yo, man, put my needles back when you done. Like, put my tone arm, clamp it, like, turn my shit off. Like, So he really didn't really want me touching his stuff. And I just did it anyway. And then he just like, he just caught wind that I wasn't going to stop. And then that's when he was like, all right, if you're going to do this, lesson number one, you got to learn how to hook and unhook all of this. You got to learn how to balance a needle. You got to learn, just the fundamentals of just the setup. Because if really, you've probably seen a party just have a slow or a raggedy takeoff just because the setup is not proper. This is why sound check is so important and all of that, But anyway, he wasn't really thrilled about me using his shit, you know what I mean? But years like down the line, when he started seeing like, oh wow, he's actually like, here's the thing. Parents, natural, like, they're naturally gonna they're like, yo, well, they want to see their children doing something that they're actually gonna be able to eat off of. It's like, yeah, I'm happy for you. You're doing your little thing. This is cute. But like, how you gonna eat?
Yeah.
Can you retire off of that? So I think what he's seeing from me, like just being able to like actually earn from it, now he's like proud. That's what makes him proud. He already know, like, yeah, you have great taste, of course. You my son. But you're actually able to parlay that into some kind of earning. I'm proud of that. So that's my dad, man. Yeah.
That's cute though. I like that.
Yeah.
Speaking of your other mentors that you've mentioned previously, and if people watch you play, it's very like I can see the Theo, I can see the Marcellus.
Yeah.
You've mentioned other mentors before as well.
Yeah, I gotta mention Ray Bone Jones.
Right.
Just because all of these guys too, I want to say, it's not like they absolutely, like, especially Theo and Ray Bone definitely would be like, oh, yo, you need this cut, or you need that, or you ain't got that, or you need that. You don't know. I remember this night I was with Theo. He was selecting for a gig, right? He just pulled out like every Pevin Everett record he got, which, imagine that. It's like a stack like this. It's like every Pevin Everett record, right? And I was just like, who is Pevin Everett? And he was just like, he looked at me like, you don't know who Pevin Everett is? And the first record he put on was Stuck. And I was just like, what the fuck? Like, who is this? This is crazy. And I remember being like mad too. Like, how is this too good to be just underground? This should be on the radio.
Yeah.
I'm like, this dude sound like Stevie Wonder. Like, and he was like, yeah, and that's him playing all these instruments. Like, what? So, anyways, the mentorship that I got from these big brothers of mine also stretched beyond music. Like, a lot of what I apply to myself spiritually even comes from these guys. And also just on some big brother protection stuff. Like, yo, don't never accept an open drink. Like, yo, don't, make sure you show up to sound check. Like, yo, make sure you, other little things that are fundamental to this thing other than just, this is how you beat match. Like, whatever.
Right.
You can learn. I had to learn all that on my own. But they was giving me the stuff that was going to make it sustainable for me. Because in the end, like, we're still people. And, like, we have to, like, actually make it out of the party alive. Like, So, like, honestly, that whole tip about not accepting an open intoxicant from a stranger is one of the most clutch lessons that I ever got. Because that will end not just your career, your life.
There's many instances, where.
So, no, those guys, man, definitely have, like, took me under their wing. And then Theo, I've just heard him play so many times, right? That, like, and we joke about this, like, I'm programmed. And to a certain degree, like, I've kind of getting stamped with just like his energetic presence. You know what I mean? And then like, he's from Chicago. It's different. Chicago energy is just different. Detroit is energetic. Chicago is different. Chicago really, I always say this, like there's another DJ named Lee Collins, right? Lee Collins and all them Chicago cats, they play soul and disco and funk records with techno energy.
Oh wow.
That's they
Okay,
really
I
beat
see what
the,
you're saying.
You know when
Yeah.
they say beat the box?
Yeah.
They beat you. It's physical. It's like actually violent. So, but what I learned from that, what I gathered from that is that it's not just because they just trying to give you the feel, and they're like, yo, get it, and I got it, and I was like, okay, I want to do that for people too, and it's still a certain level of command you gotta have. You still gotta have a certain level of knowing how to play with the pressure in the room, like. Every moment is not gonna be the yay moment,
Yeah.
right? You gotta learn how to, boom, sustain, up, go down, up, back. No, I'm just playing. Oh no, it's not over. Is this the last song? Okay, it's like a tension that you're playing with. So, no, that's what I learned from all those guys. These are masters at energy. It's not just because they know how to beat match or because they just have great taste. They also have sensitivity. Emotional, spiritual sensitivity. They understand because they've been on them dance floors, not just because they have taste, because they've been beat before, so they know, So yeah, that's just what I learned from them, for real.
Did you meet them? I mean, I'm assuming just hearing the conversation, but did you meet them early on when you started? Because, and also how? I mean, not necessarily how, like, but there is people, you can't just, I mean, you can, but I don't know how good that will look. Roll up on people. It's like, hey, I would like to learn from you. Or like, hey, can you be my mentor? That's, that's not, maybe that works for some people, but I don't think that's the natural way of going about things. So how did you connect with them?
Yeah, I was just really privileged based off friends, mutual friends.
Okay.
Always shout out John Cannon. He definitely, or John Cloud, depending on who, depending on, how you met him. But I always credit him because he introduced me to Three Chairs. He introduced me to their work. Like, I didn't know who they were at all. And he was like, you never heard of, he was like, what? Write these names down. Like, literally, I took a piece of paper, I wrote the names down, I looked them up. Before I listened to any of their music, any mixes or anything, the power of these things, this is why I like doing interviews with certain people, because the power of these right here, like there's lessons and jewels in just how we talking, right? So I watched Theo interviews, I watched Marcellus, I watched Kenny, and listening to them speak, I knew that these were my big brothers, right? Just in the fact that, they're black men. They from similar environments I'm from. I mean, Marcellus is literally from the same, he's from the east side like me, right?
Oh, quick note.
Yeah.
What is it, like, what's the, obviously east and west, but what is the difference when you say I'm from the east side of Detroit versus west?
Listen, I've lived on the east side. I lived on the east side for like 15 years. I lived on the west side for like 14 years. And now I've been on the north end for a couple years.
Okay.
To be honest with you, it's not that much of a difference. These are just urban areas in Detroit, inner city. But historically, there was like, east side is like this and west side is like that. That's, to be honest with you, I don't know how true that, maybe that was a difference before me. But to be honest with you, that's just a ghetto over here and a ghetto over there. Like, you know what I mean? Don't get me wrong, there are still beautiful pockets within these ghettos and, people with very well kept homes and families of living, but basically I say this is just inner city living.
Got it. I was just curious because I've heard it before and I'm like, well, I wonder,
there is a certain pride, you know what I
Okay.
mean? You'd be like, I'm from the east side, right? Because here's a very brief Detroit history about east and west side. East side is older than the west side. Okay. So east side, a lot of the black families originally started on the east side, you know what I mean? And then maybe when folks got certain jobs or whatever, then this is where it all begins of you on the west side, you bougie.
Okay.
Because, you know what I'm saying? But it's not entirely, it is some truth to it though. But at any rate, Marcellus, Kenny, I mean, Theo as well, because he's from Chicago and he's from an inner city. He's from the South Side. The South Side of Chicago is like the East Side or the West Side of Detroit. You know,
Got it.
It's the hood. So I could relate to. But here's the thing: they weren't playing up the fact that you get what I'm saying. Like they still was articulate, they still was intelligent, but they was also just, brothers. Like it's like, all right, like that's my cousin, that's my uncle, that's my big bro. Like, you need to have that relatability. Just like I was saying about Jay and Kyle. What was even more profound about that was because they were actually my age. So I'm like,
I was
wait a
gonna
minute.
say that.
I literally can do it because that's literally me. Like that's like, I'm looking like that could be me. You know what I mean? In my own fashion, but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know how they say representation and all that. So yeah. That was really the most important thing. Even more like, and then of course they taste because we come from these same environments. Of course, we're gonna have like some same roots. We got the same roots. Atomic Dog is Atomic Dog to all of us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the power
Okay,
of that.
cool.
Yeah.
All right. Obviously since you've been playing now for a while, how has your approach of DJing changed compared to when you started over the years and where you are right now? And where do you want to take it?
My approach. So when I very first started, actually before I started, I made basically like a hit list. I made a long list of all the venues because after about a year of exploring, like I said, after that party, like I went to the Griswold. This is another thing I realized too. I went to the Griswold Loft like every week for like 2 months after that, right? Never another party on that level. Good parties. Dope DJs. There was another DJ I saw named Todd Mose who played there, and he destroyed that place one time. He killed it. But I came to find out, like, it's not just about the spot. And it ain't even just about who's playing. It's like who came, who's the weather, what else was happening that night. And just, there's so many unknown variables to make a night good, bad, great, special, whatever. But anyway, when I first started, I made a hit list of just all of the spots that I gathered. I was like, these are all the cool places that I want to play. And after playing all those places, I realized, like, I don't really care that. Don't get me wrong, it's an honor to play for people, period. But I realized the best things are the DIY things. We roll in the sound system in here because this is really the roots of it, right? Club culture is based off of sound system culture. It's not the other way around. That's why I'm so disappointed in like a lot of venues when I see that, this is something we was talking about in the Uber, when I see that they're using the music to sell the drink strictly. And you can tell on the programming. You can tell by the programming. And you can tell by the care and the sound and the staff and everything. Sometimes I can just walk in a place, hang out for a minute and realize, they don't care about the dance floor. They don't care about these people for real. They're just trying to sell the drinks. So that's why, don't get me wrong, I drink, but if I want to just go to a bar, I'll just go to a bar. If I go to one of these things, I'm really there for the music, and the drinks is on the side. I don't like it the other way around. So, yeah, that's really my approach different. As I started to mature in DJing and started being more confident and more people started knowing about me, then I started to do my own programs. Now I feel confident to activate my own situations in like galleries and lofts and things like that. Because, those are just more, I don't know, they're just realer, man. I don't know. It's just more closer to, you're able to, demonstrate your ethic more clearly when you have a blank canvas and then you come and decorate, as opposed to I walk in this place and it's already, no offense, but it's like already has a Red Bull logo here. So it's already letting it be known as soon as you walk in, like, this is a corporate establishment. And that corporate energy, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's not like conducive to like somebody having a moment for real. Let's just call it what it is. You can still have a cool party, but we ain't talking about a cool party, right? We talking about, I need this. That's what I'm talking about. So that's where my approach changed. At first, I did think it was about just like, being cool with girls, yeah. And then over time, I started realizing, like, no, people actually need this. I need it for sure. I need it. And people need it at varying degrees. Some people you're going to see in the corner with the baby powder, doing spin moves, going crazy, like some of the ciphers, or some people who do it for sport, you know, which is no shame to that. But there's some people that, like myself, a lot of times I go out, I don't even dance. I'm still having a great time.
Yeah.
Might just be sitting down. Might not have the energy to dance tonight, but still needed it though. So I started looking at it more, to quote Theo via Glenn Underground, it's more of like service. You know, it's less. That's why I don't love all that camera in the face DJing and DJ watching stuff. I don't love all that because you're trying to spotlight me and my ego and make me, oh, I'm the man. It's the, oh, great set, bro. I don't like all that great set, bro stuff, you know. I like when it's like, I know I did my job when somebody's like, yo, thank you, I needed that. That's when I know I did it, you know, what I'm here for. Mm-hmm. So that's what changed. I just started taking it a little more serious. So, but it's funny because now it's coming 360 because nowadays I'm like, I can't take it too serious though. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, it is just a party. Relax, bro. You know what I mean? So like,
I gotta check myself.
Two things could be true. You know?
Yeah. But just to you know, live not in a fantasy, but, and you mentioned some of the elements already, but what is your perfect, I was going to say perfect party, but you kind of, you know, you like the DIY stuff. But what is your perfect dance floor like? What would you like, you know, when you're like in the zone and then you open your eyes and you're like, oh shit, this is it. Excuse
Perfect
me.
dance floor is dark.
Well, you can't see shit.
Perfect dance floor is dark. It has multiple pockets of sound where you can get it. It smells decent, but it's also gonna have a little funky smell because a lot of people did sweat this stuff, so it's gonna have a little tang.
This is my reminder for people to use deodorant when they go out.
Use deodorant.
Reapply it. Reapply as needed. Okay, thank you. That was just had to add it.
Public service announcement. Use deodorant. You might, if you really know that you came to get down, you might want to take a page out of Garrick's book, he's basically, to me, a living legend. House dancer in Detroit. Bring another shirt.
Yeah, that's
Bring
what we
another
do.
shirt. Like movement weekend, I don't care. Just bring an extra shirt. You know it was about to happen to you. Just bring another shirt. And on some health stuff, because like, if it's chilly outside, you don't want to go out there with that wet shirt, so you need another shirt. But anyway, these are the perfect dance floors when you need another shirt.
When you need another outfit, how about that?
When you need another outfit.
Yeah.
When you leave and it was so good that you're tired but you're not sleepy.
When you actually, you know you're tired, everything hurts, but you're in the bed like... Yeah. You can't sleep. Yeah, happened a lot
and
of
what
times.
happens to me is I get so hyped, I have to hit the record store tomorrow because I'm like, oh my God, I might not find that cut, but I just need something that feel like that. That was crazy. Yeah.
Okay. Well, talking about, since this podcast is called Dance to the Music, right? And I'm always trying to connect what we call dance music, but there's not many people, some people just don't dance, right? Or some people would like to and really don't know how to get into it. But what do you, when you play this, like you said, there's the dancers in the corner or taking over the floor in certain instances. But then there's people who, you know, they feel the vibe, but they're not necessarily expressing it that way. In that way, what do you look for? Like, do you have a? It's like, I play for the dancers, or I don't play for the dancers, or are there certain moments where you do play for the dancers and then you switch it up and be like, I know this person over there, she's really cool, she's chilling, and I know she's feeling the vibe, but I just want to play for her or for that person right there or for that guy, you know?
I ain't gonna lie, that mentality is, I know for some people, maybe it's just a skill thing, I don't know. For me, that mentality has gotten me into trouble. I really don't like to personalize the selections too much. Mm-hmm. Absolutely, like, I do love to do this. Like, for instance, me and you, earlier we was talking about this song, like, yeah, ha, and in the back of my head, I'm like, yeah, they don't know I'm playing that later. Like, they don't know. But that would be our moment, you know, mm-hmm. That would be our special moment. But honestly, man, reading the room, it's not as personal as it seems. It's more energetic. And just like we was talking about earlier, how some people go out and they have an expectation for, like, I want to hear techno. I want to hear some deep house. I don't want to hear no disco, or I want to hear disco. I don't want to hear that hard stuff. I want to be able to read the room so well that I can make this make sense for you. If you in it, I want to keep you in it, right? If you out of it, I don't care about you. I ain't gonna lie. I'm not like, I gotta get. Don't get me wrong. I do feel like it's not a personal. The room has an energy of itself. It's like me, there's you, and then there's us in this room.
Right.
Play to that. That's what I like to do, and that usually helps me. Because to be honest with you, I just started getting the confidence, like, over the last few years to actually even look at the dance floor. I remember there's an OG back home in Detroit who told me one time, my first time playing the Motor City Wine, I like never looked up. And he literally was just like, because he saw me, like, I had the dance floor and I wasn't paying attention, and I like did a dramatic change, right? And he told me after I was done, he's like, hey man, don't be afraid to look us in the face, because you had us. You had us. You didn't have to do nothing miraculous. All you had to do is just keep kind of, and he was right. So it's good to look up, but I don't be trying to be overly romantic and personal with the selections, because honestly, man, it really ain't about you, for real. Like, you know what I'm saying? It really ain't. I don't really care who you are. It's like, oh man, Ryan Trey here. That's good for him, man. You know what I'm saying? Okay, like, trust me, I do care, but at the same time, I'm really I feel like I'm doing a disservice to somebody else in the room who might need it if I'm overly thinking, oh, Marie's here, so I gotta play, like, her cut. Like, nah, man. Honestly, here's another jewel from Theo. When it's really going down, the records pick themselves. When it's really going down, when you playing, and like sometimes you gotta like look and find the record. Other times you like playing, you in it, and you like, oh, I know it'd be perfect.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I know it'll go right here. That's when is it really just you picking that song at that point? It's like we just all picked this song.
Exactly. Yeah.
So that's the best thing to look for. But man, some crowds are tougher, and you just gotta kind of mentally make it happen. Yeah.
Okay. I have maybe like only two more question ish.
Okay.
But one thing that obviously you been playing for a minute, there's things out there that you're going into production, and there's tracks out there that you've produced, I believe. What is your next plan? Not just DJing, but like what are some other artistic expressions, if I can say it like that, that you have on the radar, or that you're into, or that you're trying to get into, as artists develop, and not just as artists, but as people, we change. What are some of the things that you
Man, I'm still young, but I'm not gonna be young forever. So I have been thinking about like I'm already like a young OG to the other, like, younger DJs and stuff. I'm starting to realize that the main issue, at least in Detroit, actually I'm noticing this all over the world. We need more spaces. So I don't want to be a promoter or nothing, but I want to consider like a program. I want to be a part of the programming. Like, I don't have to DJ, right? But based on, I've been on so many dance floors, I've heard, I'm not an expert in that, but I've heard so many systems, I at least know what feels good, right? So I just want to, facilitate more spaces, and not just clubs, right? Like for instance, like YG has the Underground Music Academy back home. We need stuff like that, where folks can like learn the production, have a place to learn how to DJ, or I just have a place to, like this place we're in right now. We need more of these.
Shout out to Snipes and Ladies of Hip Hop. I didn't mention that in the beginning, but we are in Queens at the Ladies of Hip Hop Snipes studio. So
real talk, and like, as soon as I walked in here, I was like, oh yeah, people be in here getting down for sure. Like, it goes down, and we need more of these. Everybody doesn't feel comfortable in the club. I mean, let's face it, it's dangerous at the club. So we need more spaces like Music Land, intentionally, like, we don't even have a bar. Like, you can bring your own
and
drink.
I forgot who I was talking to the other day, but like legendary places like the Paradise Garage or the Loft, they didn't sell alcohol. And please correct me if I'm wrong, but I've read this somewhere. Obviously, this was before my time.
I heard the
They
shelter didn't sell alcohol neither.
didn't sell alcohol, and you know, people still did their thing. Obviously, you know, people did their drugs and drank either way, but that's back to what you just previously said. The drinks and the alcohol was not the main goal. People went for the music, hence for the social aspect also, and to dance and just to be there for the energy. So yeah, it's really interesting how we are now about what we're selling at the club versus rather what we're feeling.
Yeah. Like, this party has been brought to you in part by Hennessy, or, you know what I mean, or whatever. Which, don't get me wrong, I would love to have sponsors. Shout out, what up, Hennessy? Like, sponsor me. But just know it's not really about you. You're sponsoring something that, anyway, we need these kind of spaces: shelters, garages, lofts, music land. You know, I never been to this spot here, but I heard of a spot called Joy. Is it called Joy here or something like that? Have you been?
I haven't been. No.
Spaces like that. Brooklyn has a lot of space. Brooklyn, man, there's just so much of this culture here. And I really want to, like, I'm very inspired by what I see and feel here. There really is a community. I mean, we have a community at home too, but we need to take, I feel like we need to take those of us that are actually in it, like the dancers, the art, not just the people, the music, like the dancers, not just the DJs, the sound men, the artists. We all need to take more ownership of the space instead of, don't get me wrong, I play a lot of gigs because at the end of the day, you know, I can't afford to. But that, like we were talking about, these are the goals. I don't want to just be somebody that you can just hire for the rest of my life. And this is another thing, shout out to Theo again. This is one of the things that with the music gallery where he taught me, like, listen, this is the reason I'm doing the music gallery, because I can't do this anywhere else in Detroit. I need my own place to do this because, to be honest with you, it's not very financially sustainable what I'm talking about. It's really not it's not a lot of money to be made. So it really got to come from a place, you know, of love and care. And I need to create other streams of income, basically, so that I can fund these dreams, because these are not going to make money, but they are going to make a difference.
Exactly.
You know? So that, to be honest with you, is like, other than, like, of course, like, I make music, I'm working on productions and records and stuff like that, but that stuff is this is more important than that, to be honest with you. Like, that is a part that will help make that happen. But I need something that's bigger than me. Legacy. This is what we're talking about. And records are legacy as well. But I want to create things that are not about Deon, you know. Like you said, you heard all those spaces I just named had no man's name on it, no woman's name. Music land. That's it. That's what that is. Who knows? Who owns? I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? We need those. And I want to just help facilitate that. I'm super inspired just from being around here, Public Records, you know, just these amazing sound systems, man. So much care and attention to detail. I want to bring that ethic home. I want to bring that home. There's only one place in Detroit that I think displays that ethic very well and has for a long time, is Motor City Wine. They have a lot of care and attention to detail when it comes to the sound and the energy and the programming. But we just need more. We need more. So.
Do you, obviously, I haven't been to one of your healing sessions, but that's your own event, or like your own, I don't know if I should call it a party.
Yeah.
Are you interested? It is a party.
Yeah.
Are you you know, planning on doing another one or bringing it back, or doing something in that nature?
I'm definitely working on it. It's just a matter of, like, time and team. Like, I was doing it the way I was doing it. It's not sustainable for me to do it, like, by myself. I definitely had help, you know. My brothers and my friends, they helped me make it happen, but I don't have anything, like, planned right now. But I'm working.
But
on
it's
it.
not, for lack of better words, it's not something that you shelved already. No, okay, that's what I was trying to say.
Like, that's one of the things. Like, that's definitely gonna be a thing. But
Okay.
I feel like when I bring it back, I want it to be honest with you, I want it to be in a building that we own. I don't want to.
I completely understand that. Yeah.
It's not sustainable. It's not sustainable, and I want to have something that can be dependable. Like, on the second Friday of every month.
Yeah, and you have all the say in what goes on in the building. Like, right. I remember an example, and I'm not specifically talking about music. Obviously, yeah, you can do whatever you want there musically, but also speaking of Wajid and UMA, he said, I told him that it's like, yo, every time I walk into this building, it's just like a reset. I hit a reset button, it's just like, it attracts the right people. You're just here for the music, but also like, I know that this is a good space. Yeah. And he said, yeah, I'm very intentional about that. And if, to paraphrase obviously, and not to tell what exactly happened at that moment, but it's like, no, if people come in with a certain energy, I'll make sure that this is not coming into the space. So that's something where I completely understand that if you own your space, then you have the say in what goes on. Yeah.
And just like you said, man, it's literally called Underground Music Academy. That right there lets you know it's educational, and education is usually for the youth. Mm-hmm. So that means this space is created for children. That you have to make the space a certain kind of way for children to feel, you know what I mean?
Comfortable and safe, yeah.
I mean, for parents to feel comfortable dropping their kids off of here, right? So yeah, when you walk up in there, man, it definitely is like a reset. You're right. And I ain't gonna lie, everybody I met in there ended up being good people. I haven't met nobody in there yet that I didn't end up vibing with. Because it's a certain energy. Like, I mean, you're not even gonna be attracted to a place like that if you not have a certain
Exactly. And even though I also say that, like, even though Movement Weekend is a busy weekend and everybody's everywhere, but they do the pop-up and they're open and they have classes now and people come, but it's also like you can tell who the people are that come and stop by. So it was just like, yeah, shout out to Wajid, by the way.
No, real talk. Shout out to Wajid. That's big bro.
Yeah. I got one more thing that I keep asking everybody. Can you name me 3 tracks that trigger a memory of dance? In whatever type of fashion, whether that's you, whether that's your family, whether that's whoever on the dance floor, when you played it, and not a specific genre, just name me 3 random.
As soon as you said it, Before I Let Go.
Oh, shit, yeah.
Come on now. Did you not just see the hustle line? As soon as I said that, so Before I Let Go, I always say, No Way Back. You got it, Too Far Gone, No Way Back. And one more, dance.
I was just about to say, let's do 5, but then here we are, stuck on number 3.
Okay, no, because this is a good range. Before I Let Go, No Way Back, Aaliyah, Rock the Boat.
Oh, shit. Excuse me. Okay, that I did not expect that coming, but
if you have
fucking
all 3
dope.
of those records in your bag for the rest of your life, you will get a lot of use out of those. And I'm not saying you're gonna play any of them every set, but put it like this. Remember you said perfect dance floor, perfect party? Mm-hmm. If all 3 of those records get played, that was an epic party. That's about it.
Now I have expectations for. I don't know. Did you just say, how sometimes when there's a record, might not play it for you, but I might play it for you.
Yeah.
Just giving you a hint. No.
No, these are epic classics. If we go outside right now and one of them songs is playing,
absolutely,
people might just be walking down the street, stop and start dancing. So those are like the epic. I've seen so many times. Like I've seen that change the temperature so many times. Yeah. That was it on my part. I'm gonna close this. Do you have anything that you want to share that people haven't asked you whenever they ask you questions that you were like, you know what, I might should mention this just to get it out there, or anything else you have coming up maybe next year, because obviously this is pre-recorded and people will hear it. No, I don't have anything really that I would like to promote. I would just like to promote the fact that, you know, like what we was talking about in the car, we need to promote this idea that it's not about the DJ, it's not about the venue even, it's about that moment. Let's get back to the moments and get the camera out of the DJ's face. Stay out of the DJ's face unless you're going to say what up, thank you, want a drink or something, and just get out of there, you know. And yeah, let's just keep the main thing the main thing. Get out of our egos and remember that what this energy exchange is about, you know. That's the thing I would like to promote. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's
Thank you,
it.
Dion, for
Thank you.
taking the time.
Thank you. Thank you.
Answering questions multiple times. So
Yes,
thank you,
yes.
thank you. And thank you everybody for listening. And check out Ladies of Hip Hop and Snipes. Goodbye.